This week's episode is all about trades. One that happened, one that broke records, and one that cursed us all. I know, it's one of those cryptic openings again, but I have to do that so you guys keep watching. And yes, I am filming in my kitchen. It's the fridge in case I get hungry. Okay, you know what happens next. I'm Olivia Jaquith, and it all happens here when I call the shots. It worked. Antonio Brown's plan to escape Pittsburgh and secure a new contract came to fruition just after midnight earlier today when the Steelers and Oakland Raiders agreed to terms of a trade. The Steelers will receive a third-round and fifth-round pick in the 2019 NFL Draft in exchange for one of the defining receivers of his generation. Brown's new contract is for 3 years and is worth roughly $12 million more than what the old contract was worth. The trade ends a saga that ramped up in the days before Pittsburgh's season finale when the Steelers benched Brown for missing practice time. A series of entertaining interviews and trade rumors followed, but Brown ultimately got exactly what he wanted. And so did outfielder Bryce Harper, whose trade from the Washington Nationals to the Philadelphia Phillies makes him baseball's richest player. The 26-year-old free agent agreed to a 13-year, $330 million contract, which surpassed Giancarlo Stanton's 2014 extension with the Miami Marlins for $325 million over the course of 13 years, making Harper's contract the largest in the history of major North American sports. As NL East rivals, the Phillies and the Nationals play each other 19 times this season, with Harper's first appearance at Nationals Park coming on April 2nd. And they'd better get used to having him around because the contract also included a full no-trade clause and no opt-outs, signs that Harper intends to spend the rest of his career in Philadelphia. You may know him as the Sultan of SWAT, but I only refer to him in the context of the curse of the Great Bambino. With Babe Ruth, the Red Sox would win 5 of the first 6 World Series. Following the cursed trade, the Sox wouldn't win another World Series until 2004. I'm sure you already know all of this, but what you may not know is that Ruth's tireless ambassador through it all was none other than his adopted daughter, Julia Ruth Stevens. Stevens was just 7 years old when her mother, model and actress Claire Hodgson, met Ruth in 1923. Stevens was the youngest surviving daughter of the Great Bambino, and she passed away earlier this week at the age of 102. That wraps it up for this week's episode of Call the Shots. I'm Olivia Jaquith, and I will see you next week.